Hi, I'm Rob Leigh. I'm a letterer on such titles as Ghost Machines Geiger, DC Comics JSA, Batman, and you're on Splash Pages.
So the only thing left to say, of course, is the one obvious thing. Hey, stop
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You are watching Splash Pages. My name is Leigh. I'm the Mikey behind the keyboard here. We have an awesome show scheduled for you and an amazing guest. And, a ton of people watching. So if you have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the comments there. And without further ado, we'll push it over to Carrie. How's it going?
Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Splash Pages. It is going great. Ratatosker and I are here to hang out. I'm so excited about the interview today. Oh, my goodness. I'm going crazy. Oh, and Hinata just decided to join us as well. So all the mascots coming. I've been going crazy planning a 24-hour helping plan a 24-hour show that we're doing this weekend over with Owlite. So move on to somebody else because I'm a nutcase.
Jar Jar.
Hey, it's Tuesday night and we got a pretty dope show put together. I'm kind of excited too, Leo. We might as well move it right along over to Drew and get our guests out here because this is going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, hell yeah. Mr. Drew. Dude, wake up. Come on.
Oh my God, is it Tuesday? What year is it? Oh, it's Tuesday. All right, hold on. Hey everybody. Hi, I'm Drew. Welcome to Splash Pages. And it's Tuesday. And you know what that T stands for? It's Tortellini night. But while I enjoy this because I'm dying slowly, we have a wonderful guest on. There's a chance that if you read comic books, you've probably read something that he's lettered. Because every comic book needs an amazing team of people behind it to really make it pop. And that could be an inker, that could be a colorist, and this time a letterer. So everybody, the great, the wonderful man with a million stories, Mr. Rob Leigh.
Yeah.
Hey, folks.
There we go.
How's it going, sir?
How is everybody?
Oh, pretty good. Are you enjoying the winter weather over in Jersey?
I wish it were colder, and I wish we had more snow. I'm a cold weather guy.
Really?
Yeah.
I know you're a hunter. Do you do deer hunting and all that this time of year?
I haven't gone deer hunting in a few years, but I do like deer hunting. I do a lot of bird hunting, pheasant hunting in particular.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God. My relatives would love you. Oh my God. They're all from PA, so they very much know the hunting days.
Yeah, that's deer country there.
Oh yes.
We've gone to plenty of convention over where you are. Like you're in a prime spot for cons.
Oh yeah.
Where is he? I'm sorry, I
North
was
Jersey?
asleep.
Yeah, I'm in North Jersey, so I'm within driving distance of Manhattan.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
yeah, he is. There's a ton of great New Jersey cons. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we used to hit Walker Stalker all the time there. Monster
Mhm.
Mania.
Mhm.
Obviously New York Comic Con. Hero Con is there too, right?
I think East
I
Coast Comic
guess.
Con's down in
East
Jersey
Coast
as
Comic
well.
Con, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what's the crazy thing is I've been going to cons for like over 10 years, and I swear, Rob, I was like, I don't think I've been at a con where I've seen your table, because I know I would have been one of those guys. I was like, oh hi, could you
Yeah,
sign
there's
me?
I've never done. In fact, the
Wow.
first con that I ever worked was this past fall with the Ghost Machine booth at the New York convention.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I kind of keep to myself in my own little corner of the world here, but I'm getting out more.
So how
Oh.
did you enjoy that con sitting in the table at Ghost Machine?
That was a great time. Yeah, we've got a great team. So we were there for a week. So we were there for a few days ahead of the convention, because this was the first time we were all in the same room together. And
Shameless promotion. Shameless promotion and support.
Oh, we got to read the first issue there, and I'm in on almost every story, I think, in the book.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell yeah.
he's gonna have to work twice as hard to be able to afford all those new titles now.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Oh.
It's kind of messed up.
If we're showing
My wife's
off,
gonna be like,
right?
"What are you doing?"
Why
I
are
have
you?
the
Why do you
digital
make comics good?
Carrie got the chromium cover.
Yes.
Oh
did.
yeah, Carrie got the chrome cover. Look at that!
Oh,
Look at that straight up blinder.
Yeah. What's the other one you got there, Carrie?
This one they thought they didn't have it for me. It's the cover J. That's how many covers you guys have. I love.
Yeah,
it,
I think
but
we
don't
went up to
have
M on
a
this one.
pocketbook to afford you.
Um,
Yeah. This is
Hyde Street.
The Hyde.
Oh,
Hyde-
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ivan's cover.
Hyde Street.
She's a
spooky
big
cover,
horror
that's what I
fan.
call it. Yeah.
Yeah, he
and
knocked it out of the park
I'm
with that.
also-
Didn't
I'm very much looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
That story's going to be awesome.
So, how did you first get into actually? How did you get to become a letterer, like that, of all things, like in the comic industry? Because I know you do art as well, right?
Yeah, I started out in '92. I know the bio is a little. There's some errors there, but I actually started in '92. I started as a freelance production artist for DC.
Ah.
Because I went to the Kubert School and I knew how to letter, I knew how to draw, and so I would go there for the week, and then at the end of the week, I'd ask my supervisor, Rick Taylor, who had also, I think he was in the first Kubert School class. So on Fridays I go in there, I said, "Do you need me on Monday?" And if he said yes, I'd come back on Monday, and if he said no, I'd come back on Monday. So this was before 9/11, so security wasn't a big thing. So I would just walk into the building like it had my name out in front. And eventually they said this guy's not going anywhere, so I was hired on staff.
Nice.
But so we did art corrections, lettering corrections, and then early on, the fellow that was sitting next to me, somehow during his lunch break, he lost a page of Deathstroke, and the book had to go out the following day.
Oh man.
And Rob Simpson, who was the editor at the time, was familiar enough from my work from doing corrections on his book, and he says, "Look, I have the Xerox of the pencils. Do you think you can ink this tonight?" And I said, "Sure." So I took it home and I blew it out, brought it back the next day, and the book went out. And that kind of got around the office. So I started inking pages here and there, and eventually I was inking full books while I was still on staff. So I'd work all day in the city. I'd commute back home to Jersey, and then I'd stay up all night because I would have the same deadline as full-time freelancers. And I did that until I went freelance. After about 3 years, I went freelance strictly inking. Mm-hmm. And so I did that for about 10 or 11 years. But I got a lot of books. I was kind of known as a fireman. a book was late, they needed somebody to put out the fire.
Right.
So a lot of editors, Pete Tomasi being one of my editors, would have a stable of guys that they could go to turn things around. So I cranked out a lot of pages, and I've got nerve damage in my hand from doing that. So I can't. I hold the brush within 10 minutes. I'm numb from my elbow to my fingertips.
Wow.
But around that time, DC was starting up the in-house lettering program, and I'd kind of set feelers out, saying that I was ready to pivot and possibly come back to work on staff. And as it turns out, the guy who was heading the department, Nick Napolitano, along with Kenny Lopez. Nick was a classmate of mine at the Kubert School, and he says, I need a guy that I can trust. I said, Nick, I know how to letter, but digital lettering is something different. But I learned quickly, made it through the interview, and I became their first hire. So I just pivoted, and I love it. I had worked with text in the past before I was in comic books. I worked in advertising, so I have an affection for working with fonts, with typefaces, with design, trying to tell a story with text. So it was just sometimes things work out the way they're supposed to if you allow that to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And so for the last 20 plus years, I've been lettering.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
What's a typical day like for you? Like, get up, mosey around the house, and then bust out some pages? Or
Yeah, I mean, I get up. I'm not a coffee drinker, so I get up, I hop in the shower, and then I'm up here in my studio, and just start working. And I work all day long. Wife comes home. We spend a little time together, watch a little TV till she goes to bed, and then I might come back up into the studio and do a little bit more work.
Yeah.
But strictly Monday through Friday these days. I used to work 7 days a week. I'd be putting in 16-hour days, but I keep regular business hours.
So Jonathan's asking, has lettering moved on to digital, or is it still traditional?
I'll tell you one thing. Jonathan there was a former student of mine from when I taught at the Kubert School.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm in touch with it. I still got my boys out there. It's been a long time since I taught there, but there's a few dozen of these guys. They're tremendous people. It is primarily digital. There are a few people who do conventional hand lettering, but it's certainly with the major companies, it's digital. Some people that self-publish, more the indies might do hand lettering, but it's predominantly digital lettering.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you
a
said,
bit.
sorry, go for it, Carrie.
I was gonna say, could you explain a little bit to people, because we were talking about it a while ago about hand lettering, and with the consistency of the fonts, there were, some people would design fonts, but there were little stencils and things, right? Where it would be.
I thought you guys actually
sometimes
sat there, wrote it in.
Well, in some cases, yeah. Like
no, hand lettering is drawn by hand. They're back in the 40s or 50s. Like Mad Magazine used it for a while, where they had there was a Leroy. It was called the Leroy system, where you would have it was like a template that had each letter was kind of routed out, and the pen had a stylus, and then it had the ink point, and you would trace and move that template around. So as it rode in the grooves of the template, the pen would then draw the letter. It was very tedious. It was used more in architecture, and they brought it. It was back in the William Gaines days that they brought it in there. But you would generally not see that in comics. It was always hand lettering. A lot of them were newspapermen, and they were hand letterers. Wow. So it was dipping a pen in ink and drawing it out. You would have a tool called an Ames guide where you'd rule your guidelines, and then but you would letter by hand.
Wow. That's
That,
Awesome.
back in the early aughts, I used to be in the sign industry for a short time,
Mhm.
and there was one guy locally that still did all the lettering by hand, and like we're using the vinyl cutters to cut it and everything.
Yeah.
And just watching him work was it was friggin' masterpiece.
Yep.
Just
Yeah, they were art. I mean, they were their own type of artists. They were show card artists, and then the sign painters would have a big brush, and they were able to maintain that control on a big scale. Yeah, incredible artists.
yeah, totally.
Now you're a fan of Comic Craft fonts, correct?
I
Some of
primarily use theirs. I use some of Nate's fonts at Blambot as well, but most of the stuff I do is with Comic Craft.
Okay, and have you ever designed your own? Like,
I've designed one. I haven't taken the software to actually make it a functional font, but I create my own sound effects, and I have again, I haven't put them into a font program. I just kind of have them off to the side, and I can pull the individual letters for the time. But I'll do that at some point. It's it's something you would need for a very specific project. And at this point, for these past 20 years, I'm like, why reinvent the wheel? Those fonts are out there. They're John Rochelle at Comic Craft does a great job. Nate does a great job. So I use what they have. I can tailor them to my projects.
there are a couple specific ones that I just associate in my head now with you, and I'm not exactly sure what they are. One of them I think is like LaDonna, maybe that you use a lot on the
Ladron I use for. I think I might use that one. Some of the lettering, some of the body copy, the balloon fonts, I like to use in sound effects. They have a kind of a bounce to it. I'm not sure if I use Ladron as a body font, but I do have my go-tos.
Yeah, there's and it might be wrong because the way I do it is, like, oh, let me pull up this. This was something I want. Okay, this is some of the stuff I was preparing. What I really liked that you did here, is if you guys are watching, this is you guys are watching, of course you are. Batman, the Man Who Laughed, and the way you put the blam blam, and you like framed the Joker's head every time he shoots. It's not, nobody else does that, just Joker. So I got the screens before, but then I put them together easier here so that you can see kind of, but everybody else, like, oh, it's off on the side, and I'm pointing at things that you can't really see. But did you do that? I mean, was that purposeful to set him aside? And
yeah, I mean, because sound effects, yes, they denote the sound, but they're also artistic elements on the page. So you can use them to isolate the action, to draw attention to a certain area. So they have a physical presence that helps move the reader's eye across the page. You want them to land on certain spots.
And with movement, exactly as you're saying that, Leo, if you want to pop up the next one. This also, I just loved how all the different, yes, they're all rooms, but I was tearing apart some of the different rooms that you did, and all of them show motion on that just, I'm following the Batmobile as it's going around in these things. I love how you do that. I don't know if there's anything really to talk about with it, but I just think it's a great technique, especially if the top one, the two with the blue rooms, initially it was on the top of the side and it goes down, but they just kind of roll into each other. So you're just watching the Batmobile as it moves from one place to the next. And you're very good with that.
Well, they're storytelling elements, right? So they're not just sounds on the page. You want them to marry with the art as well. So if for example, that one in the upper left-hand corner, if I arrange that room differently, it might conflict with the motion of the car. So you want to support the art. You don't want to work counter to it.
That is cool.
Everything's done. Every decision is done for the reader's benefit. They're in my mind the whole time. And you have to understand, as a letterer, we have a unique position in that we are the first person who sees that marriage of words and art. So, if you're doing your job, you're making the reader's experience better. You're helping to clarify some of the storytelling. And as John says there, color choices. Sure, color choices are important too.
Yeah.
I tend to use warm colors for action. Purples for magic effects. There's a psychology of color that you apply.
This one I pulled up and put two together, one from the JSA as well as one from the Batman. And this is all the thinking boxes. I forgot the word.
I like
captions. Just
captions, but I like how you have you're able to show. It's easy for people to follow the story because you have up top there Commissioner Gordon is in yellow, and he has a very specific writing style, very neat. And I went to school and learned how to write my letters. And then Batman instead has this gray and kind of a nice flowy script going on, but still very tight like he would be. And that made it really easy to go through those comics. And then if you go over here, this is where I fell in love with you. You helped me understand the JSA stuff so well because there were like 30 people or something like that in each issue going on. And having and I know that you aren't the only person who does this, but having the individual colors as well as the symbol of who is speaking or thinking or whatever really helped the reader going on. I know, like you were saying, that's for the reader's benefit, but those in particular I just really loved. And
yeah, again, I see myself as kind of an advocate for the reader, so I want to do everything that I can to take the writer and the artist's work. They work very hard, and you want to present it to the reader. So it's a relay race. They hand the baton to me, so I have to maintain that storytelling, always for the benefit of the reader. Every decision is in service of the story, so that the reader gets their ultimate enjoyment out of it.
Kind of a question that's really good.
Yeah. So Cag says, do you tailor your lettering more towards the art team that you're working with or the story itself?
The answer is it depends. If it's a book with a regular team, then you're thinking of the artist style.
Mm-hmm.
You want something that gels with it. If it's a series where there's going to be different teams throughout, then you're thinking more in terms of character orientation.
Are there specific comics that really hold a place in your heart that you've worked on, or any projects that you have that are really, goddamn, this shows some of my best work here. You guys should all check this out.
I love a lot of stuff that I do with Jeff, especially like JSA, and we'll talk about Ghost Machine later. I'm having a blast working on that. But Jeff and I both have an affection for those old characters, so that's been a lot of fun for me. Also, I had a run of over 100 issues with Jonah Hex back when Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray were drawing that, and that was, I love westerns, and they were cooking up some tremendous stories. Wednesday's comic, I did a flash feature in that.
Oh.
That was a real treat because as a kid, I really wanted to be a comic strip artist.
Right.
Comic strips were the gateway back then into comic books. And that was a real fun project. Yeah. And then aside from superhero type stuff, I did SpongeBob SquarePants for a number of years. Actually, with Chris Duffy was the editor, and Chris I knew back when he was an editor at DC on the Superman titles. That I use different muscles on that. That's a more in-your-face lettering. You know, it's, a lot of times it's front and center, whereas with traditional comic books, we kind of lay back a little bit, except when we have to lean in. But SpongeBob had a whole variety of styles of art, and so I was constantly tailoring the lettering to, as Kai was saying before, to mesh with the art team. So I had to do a lot of thinking. It's a lot of problem solving. You know?
So something that we do occasionally is that we do live reads where we type up a script and we read the characters.
Yeah.
So which you know, it's a lot of fun experiencing a comic in a different way. It's one thing to read it, it's another thing to, you know, an audiobook where you have people it's that. So when you get the scripts, you know, or even when you guys are troubleshooting, like do comic creators, do they how do I say this? Do they do voices when they're thinking their characters? Like if you're talking to Jeff about Geiger, you know, does, you know, and you're talking to him and Gary Frank, who again are always doing great work, and Geiger is just another testament to that. Do they do reads? Do they read them? Do you hear how, like, oh, the character would sound like this? So
well, they're not acting it out, but I know when I get a script, I hear a voice in my head. You know, I hear how I think the beats are going to land. I'm sure Jeff does the same thing.
Right.
Some writers will hit those bolds in their scripts. Sometimes they'll leave it up to us letters. But for sure, at least, you know, internally, I'm hearing how it's spoken. So I'm not. It's not just a written word for me. It is
right.
It is a spoken word, but we don't, you know, necessarily act it out as we're talking. You know, Peter Tomasi and I will have conversations on the phone about, should we word this like this? And I'm not saying we're acting it out, but we are. Yeah, we're playing around a little bit. I think I do it to some degree with Pete.
Yeah, and then the other question I have is just because, what kind of, when you're working, do you listen to music? And if you do, what kind of music do you listen to?
I usually have something on for white noise. I'll listen to a radio show.
Splash
just playing in the background in the computer. I listen to Jim Norton and Sam Roberts.
Okay.
They're a New York area irreverent team. Sometimes I don't put music on that much because it distracts me. Because what winds up is I'll hear a song, and then I'll start going to Wikipedia to say, oh, when did that come out? And before you know it, I'm down a rabbit hole and I'm lost.
Yeah, one of our commenters said screaming heavy metal, and I was like, yep, I can see that.
Yeah. Back in the 80s, I might have put heavy metal on. It's more country or you know, southern rock for me these days. But during baseball season, I'll have a ball game on sometimes, but just it's just white noise. But if I'm doing something like where I'm doing titles or logo, I can't have anything on. I have to really have tunnel vision.
Zero in.
Well, we had a couple other pages here, Carrie. Did you want to go over these?
Yeah. Okay, so the crunch and the boom, that's the lettering I was asking.
I do love the use of colors.
But yeah, your use of colors in these, but I loved how each one, they have the slightly different. I was pulling these up, like I said, just more to show our viewers examples of the way that you draw the different sound effects and things. And so you have each different action is following you know, what the sound effect is. But like Leigh, if you can go back to the one again real quick from Geiger, that shunk is like a really meaty crunch, you know, like you can tell that there's blood or something going in.
That's right. Yeah.
Oozing coming out, and the different, and the crash. You know,
yeah, that's a Comic Craft font. The other ones on that page are hand drawn ones by me. But yes, you're right. I use you know for an impact sound effect, I'm going to use something that's more angular. For that shunk, I want to use something that's organic.
Mhm.
You know, they're all storytelling elements. You know, they have to fit
Yeah.
with the sound as you're playing it in your head.
Well, and I think the thing that people don't realize, especially, is that comics are not just the writer and the artist. Like, there's a bunch of other people that are all contributing to make the book, which is why I always find it funny. Like, don't get me wrong, great writers and artists and even editors. When I see a line in a con, I'm like, okay, yeah, totally. Like, they've earned, but like, if I saw you sitting at a booth, just absentmindedly, just doing your thing, just lettering and drawing, or just, I don't know, being at a table eating a sandwich or whatever, I would be like, he's done so much? Why doesn't he have a line? Why isn't people harpering the praise? So I think it's just, you guys are kind of, the inkers and the colorists, you guys are the unsung heroes, because, like you said, you take the art and you really bring it to that next level. So, just looking at this here, like I said, watching the flow of the page, just where the letter, where the sound effect is, the coloring, like I can
Let's
hear.
talk about Brad Anderson there, our colorist. What an amazing job he does. He's a virtuoso.
Yeah, like I can hear the crunch and I can hear the boom and the shout, and it's also funny because whenever I type up the sound effects, my brain is like, you got to make sure you get the color right. They put it there for a reason. Get that color right. So, Leo, get the color right.
Well, I mean, you're totally right there, Drew. Like, it's a lot of people don't realize, like, how much we're taking into, like Rob's, art with the lettering and everything. I remember us talking about a while ago a Batman book, and Batman was running through the snow, and I remember all of us thinking, talking about, like, we thought, we heard that in our head as the action was happening and everything. It really could make or break a book.
And you also have to know when to put it in and when not to. There are people who want to put sound effects in, like we're Foley artists. And my attitude is if that sound isn't necessary to the story, don't put it in there. Every time somebody walks down the street, you don't have to hear footsteps. We know how people's feet work. We know they make noise. But there's sometimes when you want to do it, if you're creating a mood, then you put it in there. But it's sometimes the decision to leave it out is better than the decision to put it in.
Right. So somebody had a question about your work. Walter Lieber says, has any of your work been featured in Zissa's Barbershop?
Yeah, Walt's a guy that I grew up with, and he and I are going to have a conversation later on. So he's
oh boy. Someone's getting 2 bits and a haircut.
Yeah, Nick Zisa was the town barber.
Oh, okay. It's funny you say that, because one of my introductions to one of my favorite characters was in a stack of comics he randomly had, and I was like, oh, I'll just read comics where I get my hair. Like, oh, look, Spawn, and then here we are.
Yeah, well, yeah, Nick always had a stack of comics for us kids there.
Yep, you never know, but yes, Carrie, your analysis continues.
Oh, this was just another one where I love the way there's the having the sound effect in the background there when he goes up and tries to punch me. It's just like, oh, well, that didn't work, but the sound just overwhelms the scene. But you have them in front of it, then the bam, once again we get the motion, and then you get the it's not invisible, it's
translucent
with the translucent. Thank you. I usually
Good job,
can't
Jeremy.
speak every now and then, but crunch, so that you can see the background behind it but still hear it. And that's something that I really like that you do as well. You have a lot of the transparent sounds, especially when it comes to big explosions, which if you go on to the next one, I think, Leo.
Well, Carrie, are you expecting some Batman 60s? Pow, zip, zap, zing-a-ding. Like, don't get me wrong. If it fits, it fits, Yeah. But
I'm just saying, like, okay, check this out. You have the zzz at the top of things moving. Down where you have the it separates the two sections so you can see the extra panel going in there. and then we
Mhm.
have the transparent boom, so you can see what's coming out of the explosion. And then if we go over to the next one with the JSA, you have Mac. I was just saying on the same
It
thing.
moves so fast.
The pink, the first one, the boom is of them coming in. So the sound, I'm assuming, this is me just thinking about what you were thinking of when you were doing it. You do see the boom because it's something making a noise. And at the bottom one, the boom is transparent again as they're leaving because it's just kind of taking it out of the photo. Now
They're disappearing, and so is the sound effect. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I want to be. I wasn't sure if I was right or not on that, but yeah. So those were.
Yeah, and sound. I mean, like in the first boom, I use those O's to frame the action, just to to really give that more importance. They're all storytelling decisions.
I just think
Ha-
I'm really trying to just point this out to all of our viewers because I don't think people sometimes think about it, and it's like, this is half your comic,
Oh
You
yeah,
need to know these things.
at least half your
So,
comic. I mean, there are a few comics that have gone out without any words, but like they're far and few between. Like the storytelling is really in the lettering, and it really can make or break a book. How much collaboration is there between you, the artist, the colorist, and the writer? Like, are you guys always going in, hey, I'm gonna put this over here, and so what do you guys think about that? Or is it just like they trust you, go into it, and do your thing?
Yeah, there's a lot of trust, but if they have something specific in mind, either the writer or the artist, they might, the writer might note something in the script, the artist might put
Mhm.
something in the margin. I'll do
Right.
the same. I'll do my job, and then I'll put people who've worked with me know that I put my little margin notes there about maybe we could rephrase this, maybe we could split this up. I'll make some decisions too sometimes to take one balloon and split it up to 2 or 3, because you want to give beats from time to time. Sometimes people are just blurting out words. Sometimes you need little pauses, and there is a psychology about how close one balloon is to another. Your mind kind of adds a pause in there, and so you use that to help support the acting of the character speaking.
Was there ever a moment in your career that's like I guess considered an iconic moment in comic history that you had like a say in, like, maybe you should do it like this, and then they do it like that, and that's considered like you see it on T-shirts or something like that, like essentially something that's like considered de facto history that you got to like try this, or why don't you do this, or that you had input in that then epic.
I have no idea.
Good. Nicely done.
Honest answer.
Doing the good work. All of them. Got it.
What actually have you ever had like people that you've found tough to work with in a book, on a book?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, not every team works. There's been times, and usually you kind of realize it yourself. I've asked to come off books.
Oh,
if
really?
if I don't feel that it's a good match, or if they want me to do things that I don't want to do, because my name goes on the book too, and I want my work to represent. And no hard feelings.
Right.
I'll call the editor. I mean, it doesn't happen often. It's rare.
Right.
But yeah, we're not art monkeys. So if it's not ultimately we want the books to do well. So if I'm not a good fit for that book, I don't want to be on it. It's not good for the book. It's not good for me. It's not good for the for the other people in the creative team. But generally that's very, very rare.
Oh, that's cool.
You've had some dream collaborations. You and Jeff Johns and you and Peter Tomasi are just like you're on the same brainwave. It seems.
Yeah, Peter and I have been working together for over 30 years. Jeff and I have been working together for well over 20 years, I guess, by now. So there are, you do find that there are your go-to guys. We just play really well together. It's there's no conflicts. We understand each other. We kind of anticipate each other's moves. So those are really healthy team situations, and that makes it so much more fun.
So we have to ask, because it's definitely something we've all read, and I think, so what is it like to be to be kind of within that conversation of Ghost Machine? I mean, we all read issue 1, and it was just awesome. There are so many good things. But and your work is featured there as well. What is it like to be part of that? I don't know if I want to say movement, but it's a big change in the industry. So what is that like to be a part of that discussion?
I mean, it's incredible. First of all, I mean, this team, it's a murderer's row of talent. Everybody whose names that you, from the writing and the artists, the colorists, but also the people that we have behind the scenes. These are people who are all at the top of their game,
right?
And they're good people. They're people I like to be around. Everybody's very supportive of one another. It's such a super healthy structure from the working standpoint. Now, as far as how we're changing things, we're looking forward to that. I think it's time. It's time for a shakeup. Past artists and writers have fought for rights for us. There was a day that you didn't get art returns. Right. That's just normal now. There was a time you didn't get credited in a book.
Yeah.
Then there was a royalty program that started. So then creators started owning their thing. So this is the next step. Now we own them, we control them, and it's I think it's the way of the future. I think it's got to be.
Well, I mean, Geiger is the best example of that. I mean, Jeff, Gary, Frank, you, Brad Anderson, all of it. You guys released the first book. It sold out like hotcakes. You did the 80-page giant, and then you had the subsequent related series. You had Junkyard Joe. We've read all of them, so we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we read all of it.
Geiger, sold so well. I believe it's going to be a show. And then, like you said, Jeff and Gary are, they have the creative control. They have the said, so they benefit if it's a success. They also benefit because they're the co-creators. So, instead of where you get a piece of the pie, you're getting an equal amount of said such pie.
Yeah, this is our pie.
Yeah.
So we don't have corporate overlords saying, well, some of the polls say that maybe we should go in this direction. No, we're charting our own course, for good or for bad. And let the chips fall where they may. But we're so stoked to be working together. And what you're seeing passion. We're so happy to be working on these projects.
Yeah,
and to create something. To create something from the ground up is amazing. We've loved, working on characters, iconic characters, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Right. I mean, that's incredible, being able to, put your own stamp on it and being part of that lore. But there's something a little extra satisfying about creating something that hadn't existed before. That we are the ground zero,
right?
For our books. And we get to plot our own way. And so far, so good. The everything, the reception seems to be just amazing.
Oh yeah, a lot of good online chatter.
And there's a lot of good stuff to come. Let me tell you.
How far ahead are you writing right now, or lettering right now?
We're already working on the books for the April launch.
Nice.
So we're cooking, and everybody's motivated. We'll all be together, save for Gary, tomorrow down at MegaCon. So we're just amped all the time. I mean, aside from just the comic stuff, if you knew how much chatter was going back and forth among us all. You know, this is a solid core of people, and we're really happy to be working together.
No, I found each story in it, which is really kind of amazing for me. Like usually I'll get in an anthology, there's got to be at least one stinker or something like that. But
Yeah.
I was just like each one, even like this right here. I forget the name of it, but the family one,
The Rockefellers.
yeah, the story twists so quickly in the first few pages. You're just like, oh wow, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Same with the devil and the angel child. God, my brain is blanking.
Hornsby and Halo. Yeah.
Hornsby and Halo. Yeah. Great story. It starts off a little like you're like, okay, you got little kids are talking about, and then all of a sudden they're at a baseball game and kids whipping them around. It was great.
Well, we like to think that there's something, you know, there may not, every story may not be for everybody, but there's certainly something there for everybody.
Right.
And our motto is that the characters have to come first. You know,
Right.
We build the characters we want you to fall in love with and gravitate towards these characters. We want them to kind of hit you someplace where you want to keep coming back. And then the stories will come from that.
How big is the universe of Geiger going to be? Like,
It remains to be seen. Yeah,
Trying to get them deets. Get him.
There's some, there were little hints dropped here and there about characters that then I didn't see listed on the timeline. I'm like, but what about the historian? I thought there was a historian.
well, I mean, you see the length of the timeline. So there's an infinite possibility of stories, and we hope to be working on this for a long time to come.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting because I mean we've been talking about this because we cover news every week, and we've definitely seen a huge influx of stories from Image, from Boom Studios. You know, people telling stories like that, like you said, Rob, that we've never seen before, and I was like, wow, this is really great. I feel like it's a movement away from, you know, again, credit to the big two. You know, those characters are always going to be popular and
for sure. Yep.
But it's just like you said, it's nice to see something new, something different versus what I like to call the used car idea. It's the same story, but with a new coat of paint. You know,
kick the tires.
Yeah, change the tires, slap in the paint. It's going to sell a mill. And I'm like, will it?
Yeah, well, you know, superheroes are wonderful, but there's so many more stories to tell, you know, so why limit yourself?
Right.
There was a time when comic books were very diverse in genre there, and I guess hopefully we're going back that way.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see superheroes still exist too, but I want to explore these new challenges.
Well, I think that especially what it comes down to is the problem is what was always limiting that is sales. Like we've seen this, a great story, but because it doesn't sell, the numbers don't justify it gets shut down, which is really sad because, you know, there have been some great stories that could have gone longer, but they didn't have the numbers.
Well, I mean, it is a business, you know, so money does have to be made.
No, I know. It's just, you know, like you said, hopefully things will improve.
And you have to find your audience. Sometimes a story comes out that had it come out a few years earlier, a few years later, they might have found their audience. But sometimes it just doesn't work out that way.
It's true. It's true.
You know, when I was a kid reading comic books, if I liked a series, that was a sure sign it was going to be torpedoed in about 3 months.
Now, whose idea was it to put the old ads in here? I absolutely love it. I know it's part of Hyde Street, but this year I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, this is Jeff and Lamont. I believe this was their baby for this spread. And yeah, it's fun. Yeah. Those of us of a certain age remember a lot of the ads that these were based upon.
Totally.
Leo. I mean, what? Yeah, no, Leo. Yeah. You know, that's
and you know, there's hints in those ads there. You know, they're not random, so they'll come back to roost if you stick along with us, and I hope you will.
Oh boy. See,
Well,
Leo, don't go down Hyde Street. You don't like horror.
Yeah.
I got to Hyde Street.
You know,
Oh no, Carrie, you Carrie, you're getting an apartment down there. We know.
Yeah, right.
So Drew, yeah, I don't care for horror, but I do have to say that guy that kicked a dog, he deserved that.
Well, yeah. Okay, listen. If John Wick has taught us anything, don't ever fuck with a dog,
Yeah. Well, don't fuck with
whether
animals.
it's somebody is or a stray, because bad things will just happen to that or you.
Well, I would
just-
say this is our version of that horror isn't like gore and slasher type stuff. It's more playing with your emotions.
The mind.
And speaking of emotions,
Oh,
Junkyard
boy.
Joe. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Like the
that was
feels.
amazing.
And we read the first thing, and I saw. I love how you guys are personalizing it with your own stories. I read a story about your Uncle Robert, and one tour in Korea, 2 in Vietnam, and he
He did, he did 1 in Korea, 2 tours in Vietnam. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I think he said that he would land seaplanes by your.
Yeah, so we were talking before about the Berkshires. So the family had a few little cabins up there, and there was a little lake, and he had been known to charter a small a seaplane, and I guess surprise people that were water skiing.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Out there on the lake, and all of a sudden, oh shit, plane's coming at me.
Yeah, Splash Pages the cruise. Thanks, Jeremy. No, thank you.
And we got to do a lot of good with that book too, because we got to raise money for 2 veterans organizations, one in the United States and one in the UK.
Very cool.
So we're very pleased to do that.
No, honestly, as the grandchild of 2 veterans, I was like, wow, this is just hitting all the home. And no, it was just, again, like you said, I was like, I've never read something that really, but again, that's just the credit to the whole team. Like everything in that story was just fantastic. Which is why I also enjoyed the little nod in the Rockefellers. Junkyard Joe is on the big screen. I'm like, aw, hey Joe, looking good, buddy. No, that was just, again, that was a great story. And that's another credit to you guys. The stories just fly by. Sometimes you're just reading, it's like, oh, Jeremy knows this best, because for him, sometimes we judge by how long it takes for him to fall asleep when reading. Not as a boredom thing. He just gets really tired.
Oh yeah.
But it's just
knocked me out.
Like Geiger, I read in 1 night. Like Junkyard Joe, another night. Everything else, I was like 3 nights. I'm on a roll. It's great stuff, man. So it's really accessible. And then, like you said, you doesn't need like years of continuity. It's like, all right, well, you got to read original Joe, and then there's reboot Joe, and then there's the Joe multiverse and everything. And I was like, just read this series. It's all you need.
Yeah, jump. You got on the first bus stop. You're with us now.
Exactly. I was like, I'm supporting. So
that's
it's
another
just
good part, actually, because this is a great time to jump on. Like everybody's always like, where do I jump in on a story? I'm like, it's just beginning. Get it? Like, I've recommended it to a few people at my LCS. I'm just like, this is some cool stuff. You got to read. People get hooked on the big 2.
Yeah, man. But I think it's also funny because it's inevitable that you can't compare it. Like it's inevitable that you can't compare it to when Image was coming out in the 90s. So, people getting excited, someone like Leo, it's like, oh yeah, no, I remember, when Image was dropping Wildcats 1 and Spawn and Savage Dragon, like this is deja vu for me. Like you guys, like welcome to the new age.
Yeah, there's some inspiration drawn from that, of course. Yeah.
Yes, Leo, sorry to carbon date you, buddy.
It's okay. It's okay.
I was around then too. So.
And Image is our publishing partner too.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
Young and down in the corner there. You got to quit just trying to make us all feel old. But
yeah,
I wanted to.
She's trying to say respect your elders, Drew.
Oh, okay, cool. So you were saying, Rob?
I'm just saying that I think the last thing I said was Images is our publishing partner as well. So we're they laid some track, and we're continuing on.
All right, cool. So
how did that partnership happen?
It just seems like a natural progression. They had the infrastructure, and they've long supported other artists bringing their properties and then owning their properties still. It just it just seemed like, here's a glove, here's a hand. All right, they work. Yeah.
Jeremy, I think it's kind of the Rick and Morty pitch. It's just like they tell them the idea, son of a bitch, I'm in. So right.
Now, Carrie, I think you're trying to get in there. You had another question?
Oh, I'd also read Blood Tree by Peter Tomasi.
Yes.
And by the way, guys, it just kind of finished its run. Go out and get it. If you don't already have it, it's fabulous.
Got it.
It's this. Okay, fine. Good job. I'm proud of you. It's a beautiful story with police. It's a police thing with serial killers and darkness and a lot of mental work. And the last picture that I'd had for you, Leo, was what this was about. I'm one of those people who talks to cows in video games just in case something means something. And what we have here are, as far as I was able to tell, 33 somewhat legible different names that have been made from grave rubbings. And I went through and I think I found all but 7 of them as to who or what they are. Because I don't want to ruin it for people by giving away too much, but some of them you can see very clearly, and it's like, okay. I think that we can give away the Joseph Kubert as one, but there were some where these are something, guys, if you want to look in, you really got to dig around. So did you draw all the different names?
Yeah. Pete asked me, he says, this is going to be a wall of grave rubbings. Have fun. So I did. So a number of them I'll let you kind of figure out why, and I think you've kind of cracked the code for some of the odder names. But there are some comic related names. Pete and I share an interest in a particular team. So you'll see some of that pop in there.
Okay.
3 of them are flat out made up. I was running out of ideas, so I just made up some names. But I will tell you that the ones that nobody would guess, because they're personal to me. So I put 4 were family members. So you'll see Elizabeth Wilson, who was my mother-in-law, who passed away recently. Regina was my grandmother. Ruth was my mom's cousin, and Douglas was my Uncle Doug, and they're all gone. And they were all very supportive of my career. And if my mom's wondering why her name's not in there, it's because thankfully she's still with us. So I was kind of honoring the people from the past. And then you'll see playing off of my Uncle Doug, you'll see Jerome, Thomas. Let's see, Jerome Gilman, Thomas Murphy, Joe Farino. They were friends of my uncle's, but they were hunting buddies back when we had deer camp up in Massachusetts. And those men are all gone. Jerry was a character. He owned the radio station up upstate New York that I designed a logo for years ago. And there's a couple. Samantha was my cat when I was a kid.
That's a really cool way to homage people, honor people. Be like, hey man, they're now forever. Maybe not everybody knows who they are, but like they're forever in this book.
Yeah, I know. It's my way of, they're touchstones. They're people who meant something to you in your life, and this way they get to go on. There's some things like that in the in Ghost Machine 1 in Peter's story. But yeah, I like to throw little Easter eggs in there now and then. Sometimes for the fans, sometimes for just inside baseball type stuff.
I
But never
love-
anything that's going to embarrass the company. You know, some guys get a little carried away and they'll do a little editorializing in there, and I won't do that. Anything that I put in there is benign.
No politics or anything like
No,
that.
no. You want everybody to read. You don't want to isolate anybody. You know, there's enough of that. Let's find some common ground. You know.
So since you're going to con tomorrow, we're at the end of our hour, but I always want to know, do you still collect anything? Do you still pick up books while you're at con? Or
I don't.
like that?
Yeah, there are comic book creators that devour everything. I read what I work on, and then I'm on to the next one. I'll flip through stuff just to kind of get a temperature of what's going on. But I've sold all my comic books. You know, I had 30 long box. I can't. Well, I used it to buy some property, so it all worked out.
Yeah.
You know, give somebody else their enjoyment out of it. You know, I had my fun with them, so it's time for somebody else to have them. But I'm glad there are people who are collectors, and I'm glad there are people that are readers. Obviously, you know, but for them, I wouldn't be here.
Anybody else with the last question?
No.
The last question I'm going to have for you is, we talked about, your career, and it seems like you work a hell of a lot, and you're no longer collecting comics. What do you do mostly on your spare time? Like, to unwind? Are you a gamer? Do you, read horror stories? What do you do? I'm
an outdoorsman, so I'm certain seasons I'm hunting, I'm fishing, hiking, kayaking. A big passion of mine is wildlife and nature photography.
Oh, nice.
And I do a lot of that. So yeah, there's two new Instagram pages. One is Rob Lee Comics, which is I just started. That's my comic life, and then there's Rob Lee Outdoors, and that you'll see more of my photography in that. But yeah, I want to be outside. When I'm in front of a couple of computer monitors, to the point where I'm worrying what it's doing to my brain. So I do like to get out and get some fresh air.
Okay.
Sorry, I lied. Last question. So what type of camera are you using?
I'm shooting with a Canon, a 7D Mark II.
Nice.
And hopefully this year I'll be going to mirrorless. I'm thinking the R5.
Nice.
Ooh, I'm looking at the R50.
Oh my God, Leo.
It's like, let's call up each other on the weekend, Rob.
Yeah, exactly. All right, listen.
I did pack my camera and a 100 to 400 lens with my con stuff, so I might be able to sneak out and maybe get some bird photography in.
My God.
Very cool.
Well, Leo, listen. Yeah. Okay, when he's not lettering comics, he's Ron Swanson. We got it. You know.
Yeah. I got a little cabin that I'm building. Yeah, I'm out there.
Yeah, he's enjoying the outdoors, preserving life. Enjoying his breakfast.
We'll let you go, Rob. Before we do, where do you like people interacting with you on social media? You mentioned your two Instagrams.
Yeah, that's the best place. I have a Facebook page, but there's a lot of family and friends in there. So I've been a little apprehensive, in this world of social media. I've seen relationships blow up, so I'm trying to compartmentalize my life. So I'll have my private Facebook page, but for fans, the best place would be fans of me and comics would be Rob Lee Comics on Instagram.
You got it.
Very cool. Well, thank you again so much for your time tonight, Rob. Absolute pleasure.
Yes.
And we wish you luck at the con tomorrow.
Thank you very much. This was a lot of fun.
Same here. And I promise to coach you through it. On the very bottom, there's a leave studio button. And when you hit that, it should tell you to go to an uploads page. If you miss it, don't worry. What I'll do is I'll send a link after the show so that you can upload your audio and video. So if you hit the wrong button, don't worry about it. You'll get a link a little later.
Okie doke. So I'm leaving the studio.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Have a good
Take care, folks.
Thank you, boss.
That was
What is
awesome.
it? Okay, Leo, what is it with you and just asking questions at the end? Like, are you like start a newsletter? Like suddenly,
Leo
oh my
waits
God!
right
So
to
you
the end,
do the
he's like,
camera,
huh.
and oh, what lens are you using? My God, are you doing black and white or sepia? I was like, oh my God!
So,
Like,
hold on. So we still got a ton of people watching right now. So the show's not over. We still got a lot of comics we're going to be talking about. So definitely stay with us. It's definitely going to be a lot of fun. We promise you. And yeah, I apologize for the last questions. You know, I
no,
want
it's fine. I just, buddy,
Leo's
I like
last
busting your
question
chops. It's just
30
funny.
minutes.
I got all wordless, and I'm like, and look at all these pictures. I liked yours, and I just liked them, so I wanted to.
I just, you know what it is? I think someone's going to talk to, I probably, Jenny's going to talk to Carrie and be like, is Drew okay? He was really quiet during that show. Like, I felt like you talked the most. Like you and Jeremy and
Carrie
even
was having
Leo.
her
He was very
fangirl
quiet.
moment. Carrie got to have another fangirl moment here on Splash
Yeah.
Pages.
Carrie defines fangirl moments.
That's right. I
You
think that's
know,
what
nobody
these interviews
researches
are
like
now.
Carrie. You know, she goes in, man. She goes in. All right.
well,
All right.
you know what that means. You know,
What does that mean?
that means we need to go over to. So for those of you unfamiliar, Variant Watch is where we talk about the variant covers that you need to be on the lookout for. And let's see, who's doing Variant Watch this week?
I believe that's
It's me,
Drew.
Mario. All right. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to Variant Watch. I'm Drew, and we're going to be covering this extremely beautiful piece of 60s nostalgia. So, as we know, before she became an Avenger, Natasha Romanoff debuted in the pages of Tales of Suspense, issue 52, as a comic book femme fatale. 60 years later, we have Black Widow and Hawkeye, written by Stephanie Phillips, who will be a Terrificon Kids, and illustrated by Paolo Vivanelli. So we're having that series celebrating them and the 60 years. And to mark that said such occasion, while we have the action-packed present-day adventure for the duo and espionage and secretive past, we have Leo. I'm talking, man. How can you just change? Like, yeah, thank you. This is the Stanley Art Gem Lau cover in her original costume, the all-new variant for issue 1. This will be available March 13th, 2024, and it looks amazing. But then again, Art Gems rarely disappoints, if ever. Like, I'm sorry, if I would love to see somebody cosplay that. That is just a beautiful, beautiful costume.
I would be sexy in that.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah, you want the visual? Hold on.
No, thank you. I'm fine. Moving on. Okay, Leo, this is where you can move on. Thank you. Jesus.
That's right, Leo. Get him.
Hey, I let you have your moments, remember?
Oh, Leo left.
Oh, no. Oh, boy. Okay, Leo, I'm sorry. Come back. We need you. I don't know how to work the keyboard. I only know Axel. Okay, thank God. Leo, I only know how to do Axel F on the keyboard. I don't know anything else.
My apologies. Sorry.
Vampire homage variant covers. So, as we know, Marvel is launching a new crossover event, Blood Hunt, which is aka Marvel Universe becomes Blade. So, to kind of build up excitement for that, we're going to have essentially variant covers showing everybody how you can get acquainted with Marvel's history of vampire stories. So the variant covers are going to put a modern twist on a lot of horror comics that made Dracula and his fellow bloodsuckers iconic staples of Marvel mythos. So from X-Men to Avengers to even, can't believe I'm saying this, Spider-Boy, you're going to see all your favorite characters turning into creatures of the night.
Creatures of the night?
Personally, some of this is cool. I really doubt I'm buying any of these covers, but that's just me. But not bad. So these will be on sale February. Not February. Wow.
I like
These
that.
will be on sale April, from the 3rd all the way to the 24th. So, yeah. So if you want, check it out. There's a lot of great talent here from a lot of great artists. Personally speaking, I think some covers are a little better than others, but overall, cool.
That's a cover.
So what do you guys think?
I'm digging a few of them. There's I probably say 2 or 3 out of the lot that I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's not.
Thank you, Jar. That was wonderful. That looks kind of cool. That's not. Move.
I may be. Oh, that's pretty nice.
That has a Spawn kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool Moon Knight cover.
Yeah, but a pharaoh god as a vampire? Like, how?
It could happen.
Leo, we're judging comic books. We've seen everything at this point.
I mean, Carissa has Anubis and vampires and all sorts of stuff. So
oh, that's a cool cover.
That's the last one of them, by the way.
Yeah,
okay.
But hold on. I'm gonna nitpick because, like,
okay, come on.
How can wooden stake go through adamantium?
Oh,
well, he's not dead.
Oh my god.
She's like,
she's
Leo.
hiding.
When you were a kid, was your motto pick the weirdest hill to die on? Because I swear, sometimes you just like, but this. I'm like,
the best
Oh
thing
my
I've
God.
ever seen for the use of the adamantium was when Magneto ripped his adamantium skull off of him, and like,
Yeah.
oh my god, that was
so.
it's one.
But that's pretty much it for Variant Watch, everybody. So on to the news.
Boop, 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 boop.
So Jar Jar, you were saying the best thing that you saw was
Wait. I'm sorry, we're wrong. We missed something.
What did we miss?
What did we miss?
What about the Disney What If covers?
Oh yeah. Okay, my apologies. Yes.
There,
Forgot my own goddamn notes, everybody. So we saw last year that Marvel was participating in Walt Disney's 100th anniversary celebration with homage covers to variant characters. The best-selling covers are back, marking now the 60th anniversary of the Avengers and the X-Men. So Disney's What If variant covers are going to start with Amazing Spider-Man issue 41 and will continue to adorn select issues of ASM throughout 2024. These will also be available in black and white. So you're going to have Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald, Goofy, and others essentially covering milestone moments in both Avengers and the X-Men history. So the new stuff we see is we have, for instance, Mickey and the gang in the West Coast doing the West Coast Avengers. So that was back when the West Coast Avengers was Tigra, Mockingbird, Wonder Man. And then in the Silver Age, you have Donald Duck doing a version of Neil Adams's X-Men 58, which I believe that's it right there.
Yes.
And then you also have, the next one is actually, I think, my personal favorite. Minnie as Dazzler, her first appearance in Uncanny X-Men issue 130.
Are you guys down with the what would you call it?
Down with OPP? Do you know me?
Yeah, you know me. No, what's her name there as being Dazzler for the X-Men movies there?
Are you talking about Taylor Swift?
Yeah, that's the one.
You know what? I'm not mad at it.
Swiftie,
I feel like it kind of makes sense.
I do too. I think she would be perfect for the role. She definitely looks the part.
I felt bad that they did have Dazzler in what was it? X-Men Phoenix, Dark Phoenix. And because that movie was so bad, nobody remembered. And I remember seeing it, and I was like, wow, this was actually really good. And I was like, why do these good moments get squandered on these shitty movies?
Shitty movies.
So, all right. So now with that, everybody, variant watch is concluded.
Well, I appreciate that. Now, Jar Jar, you were saying the best thing that you saw was Wolverine, his adamantium getting ripped out.
Yes, yes.
I disagree. This is the best thing I've ever seen.
Drew's News. Exciting tales, fresh comic views. In the pages, heroes fly, villains plot under the sky. From Gotham's dark to Metropolis views, we cover stories old and new. Drew's News. Your daily source for comic clues. Join the fun as heroic crew in the world of Drew's Comics News.
Excelsior!
I hate all of you so much. All of you so much, especially the small goth chick with the squirrel. I hate her because if I know how this goes, I made that joke. She thought that was too good to be true. She told the big guy, and he was like, "Oh, that's genius. Let me just do that." And Jeremy is just like, "Yeah, it's cool."
Oh no. Jeremy's gonna beef it up, but yeah, I like it.
I made the picture.
I hate all of you so much. all of you so much. I am never gonna get that image of my face over Steve. Now I feel like I need to get that turtleneck and just be like, "Oh, hi there, everybody. Welcome. We're gonna find some comic news." You know, I hate all of you so much. Let's get on with the news.
I got my notebook.
So much fun.
Carrie, I swear to God, I'm never telling you another joke again.
Notebook.
That's a lie. That's a lie. I'm never gonna stop.
Look, see, me and Drew got notebooks. So cool.
I hate all of you so much.
We're like notebook buddies.
Okay, can someone else do the news? Who's next?
Actually, you're the...
Thank you.
Tom Dog says that Drew's News bumper is awesome.
I hate it. And Tom, I've been telling you, you need to up your dose of medication.
Yum.
We love you, Drew.
Okay, so
We do this too.
yeah.
Carrie, I swear to God, we're gonna have words later.
Who's first on Drew's News?
Shut up, Jeremy.
Drew is up first.
Yeah.
Drew's
Well, I
News.
figured I covered all this. So apparently, in May, as we know, Bloodhunt's coming out, the new series by Jed McKay and Pepe Larraz. It will be coming out with a red band edition. So this is, as I described it, an expanded and expurgated version. So this comes with a parental advisory and is polybagged. So it's going to contain additional pages and art that's too explicit for the regular version.
Whoa.
So this marks the first time that you're going to see a different edition for a Marvel comic book produced for mature readers.
Does Marvel have any mature books?
Sex criminals,
That was Marvel?
probably. No, I don't know. It just popped in there. I don't know. All I know is I saw this and I was like, okay, maybe.
Maybe
I'm
that's
curious,
what Marvel's
but
need, something dark and adult oriented and very, I don't know.
all I know is, so this is a thing. This is a new first thing. And just to let you all know, if you are interested in this, all you bloodsuckers, this will be available in your LCS May 1st, 2024. So, Blood Hunt, the Red Band Edition. Something to sink your teeth into. I'm sorry, I couldn't help. So, Carrie, are you going to give this a shot? Because for some reason I was like, Carrie might.
I'll probably look at it, see what I think.
Yeah.
Oh, Carrie's
don't know.
not like on it. She's like, I don't need any of your gimmicks, Marvel.
I'm
I
just
don't need your
Show me
goddamn
Marvel.
blood-soaked chrome covers.
They're gonna show me
It might
Doctor
be one of
Strange
those.
penile.
Yeah, it might be one of those things where I just kind of wait and then just binge it all because that seems to be the easiest for me with stuff like this. So
Yeah.
Did you
All
read
right. Well,
did you read
Blood
the
Hunt.
DC one?
did I read the what one?
The DC Vampires one?
Man, just pass.
No, not yet. But you've seen my bookmark list, so
Yeah.
it's
Ever growing.
oh yes, it is huge.
Well, it's your fault. You made friends with nerds who always want to recommend you more books. You know, you're on the
Yes,
wrong show
but
if you didn't want to read.
Yes.
All right. So,
I read.
Blo-
It's what I do.
Blood Hunt. Moving on.
Okay, so big news. February 28th, Marvel is launching Women of Marvel #1. The issue features a mix of well-known Marvel creators and exciting new talent. Comic book legend Gail Simone teams up with the newcomer Lydia Razra for a story about invisible women. Get ready for an interdimensional adventure that ends with a massive team up of Marvel's female superheroes like nothing we've ever seen before. Jackpot writer Celeste Bronfman, and I know I said that wrong, I apologize,
You're
and
doing fine.
artist Leila Lees are giving us a peek into Madam Web's visions. Find out what's in store for Marvel's leading ladies. And then Eric Schultz, writer of Hollow's Eve, and a new artist, Gadia Belvizo, put Black Widow to the test. Bucky's in trouble, and Black Widow is there to rescue him in her own signature style. And then there's also a unique Scarlet Witch story coming from New York Times bestselling author Sarah Rees Brennan and artist Ariel Javalanis. Join Wanda as she travels to the ends of the multiverse to protect her friend Darcy Lewis from a threat unlike any other. And there's going to be a bunch of other stuff, so stay tuned for Marvel's celebration of women's superheroes and creators who bring them to life on February 28th.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody got silent for that one.
Yeah, my apologies. I was off on the images.
No, it's okay. I mean, Leo, it's a lot
Yeah,
of
you got your point across.
yeah. There's a lot of covers and artwork within it, so it's all good, man.
Sounds good. Okay, it looks like Carrie is up next.
Yep. All right.
Thor.
So, if you have not been keeping up with Al Ewing's The Immortal Thor, spoiler alert. Okay, the last few pages of issues 4 and 5 have had your friendly neighborhood minotaur Dario Agar, the current CEO of Roxxon Energy Corporation, plotting to take down Thor through ruining his public image by taking over the publication of his comic. On January 25th, the unthinkable happened and Marvel was bought out by Roxxon, leaving our beloved creators and their creations at the whims of Agar. Aiding him in this endeavor, we have so far discovered Executioner as well as Enchantress throwing their allegiance to Roxxon. It appears, though, that there is an underground that is formed as the Immortal Thor issue 9, with art by Ibrahim Robertson and a cover by Alex Ross, right up there.
That's interesting.
Nice.
Will feature Thor heading to Roxxon headquarters to fight the good fight against enemies who are trying to trap him to prevent his saving Earth. Wait, oh, what? Oh, okay. Just a sec. Reddit Oscar had something to tell me. Apparently, I have to pretend that last little bit didn't happen. The officials at Roxxon would like it to be known that the Roxxon Presents Thor 1 is the only true Thor comic out there. There we go. It is also being written by Al Ewing with art and cover work by Greg Land. And as part of the Absolute Absolution mega event taking place in April with Roxxon, you should order 41 of these for your LCS right now. They're going to be hitting the shelves on April 18th. And in this version, the official version, Roxxon Thor is undercover as Chad Hammer, a spokesguru, and he's all about marketing or saving Earth. Mama Gaia. He'll
If
encounter
Chad
some
Hammer doesn't
environmental.
sound like a porn name.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, you can't get any more Chad than a Chad Thor.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's going to encounter some environmental activists that are just a tad too bit batshit crazy and must teach them some valuable lessons, whilst figuring out which of the many gods of evil are driving them to be their naughty selves. With Thor Truck, Executioner, Enchantress, and Minotaur, those great and lovely heroes there, it will truly be a comic worth your time. And Al Ewing did have one thing to say about the wonderful purchase of Marvel Comic by Roxanne. Roxanne's hostile takeover of Marvel Comics is the worst thing to happen to the industry in decades. Just what comic books needed. I was horrified, jazzed beyond words when I saw how the so-called Roxanne Entertainment Standards Committee had improved my work, methodically stripping away every iota of poetry, symbolism, and metaphor. Junk no one cares about. The result is a comic that can best be described as an act of unforgivable violence against the medium I love. A rollicking good time for the whole family. May God forgive Roxanne, for I never shall. Make mine Roxanne. And
Oh my
that's what
God.
I have for Immortal Thor.
Absolutely love it. And
Here's
you know, they need to buy 42 copies, Carrie, because
Yeah,
you gotta get one more than me. So
That's true.
Okay.
And 42 is the meaning of life. So,
and
yeah.
comics.
that was 23.
No, it's 42. Hitchhikers
42.
taught me that.
So 42 is the meaning of life in comics.
Yep. 42.
So 42. There we
42.
go. Could be 37 though in a row.
You know what? No, it can't unless you're Kevin Smith.
Okay, next up we have Jar Jar.
Oh, Darth Maul, red, white, or what is it? 25 years after making his debut in Star Wars The Phantom Menace, Darth Maul continues to captivate fans with his distinctive appearances, lethal agility, and transformation into an underworld mastermind. Marvel is set to explore Maul's intriguing character in a new 4-issue miniseries titled Star Wars Darth Maul, Black, White, and Red. Each installment of the series will feature a different creative team offering a unique perspective on the Sith's appearance. The first issue is slated for release on April 25th and is written by Benjamin Percy and illustrated by Stefano Raphael. In this installment, Darth Maul is assigned by Palpatine to investigate a prison ship that mysteriously goes offline. As Maul delves into the mission, he discovers that the vessel is transporting a group known as the Final Oculation, unleashing unforeseen horrors. The question arises, will Maul be able to control the Final Oculation before revealing himself to the Jedi? The answer lies within the pages of this highly anticipated miniseries. So check it out, April 25th. Go to your LCSs. I know Leo's a huge Star Wars fan. Do you read all the comics too?
Some of them.
I don't know. This looks
Vader
kinda
Down
cool.
for a while. And Dr. Aphra, I read that for a while too. That was pretty good stuff.
Yeah, this looks kind of cool. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I like it. And with Black, White, and Red, I'm assuming it's going to be kind of a darker tale. I mean, you got Maul. So the last time I think they did a Black, White, and Red was Carnage.
I think they did a Vader Black, White.
Oh, did they do a Vader also?
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah, and Dr. Aphra is still going because there's a variant cover coming out this week.
Oh wow! I was on the volume 1 for a while. It was pretty cool. Like 000. The two murderous droids were really interesting to me.
Yeah,
but
very
Maul
cool.
in it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The cover with Palpatine is my favorite.
Oh,
look at that.
That is kind of dope.
He's funny looking there.
I really thought Maul got the short end of the stick in the Phantom Menace. Once again, a really cool villain, and he just got.
Yeah, he was one of the better parts of that movie overall. Absolutely.
Besides Jar Jar Binks, I mean.
You know, on the way back to base, Darth Maul left Palpatine on the side of the road, and when he got back to base, Palpatine was there because somehow Palpatine returned.
Leo, Leo.
Sometimes
Next news
he's gonna
story.
Come back.
Sorry, bad Star Wars joke.
Get out.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yes.
Drew,
I'm pumped by this. So, in the true news of Marvel relettering, April 2024, we will be seeing Nightwing 113, but it's not. It's actually returning to the original lettering, a legacy of issue 300 for Nightwing, written by Tom Taylor. Nightwing 300 will have various artists returning to join the already well-established great writer for a story that teases something entirely new. So we've seen him as an orphan, as a Robin, as a Titan, a Justice League leader. But now DC has something completely new planned for him that they are keeping a tight lid on. So again, you have Nightwing 300, written by Tom Taylor, a slew of great artists and artwork. I mean, look at this. I mean, that's just absolutely beautiful covers. I believe that's the Bruno Redondo cover.
That reminds me.
We already saw Dan Mora, Jamal Campbell, Serge Acuna. There's another Bruno Redondo, and there's even a Jim Lee cover. So
this one's a bit sexy. Oh,
that's the Jim Lee one.
Yeah,
I'd recognize that style anywhere.
the first one reminds me of that old video game, Impossible Mission.
I think that's what it's mimicking.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sorry, I'm very biased, but that Dan Mora cover is just, look at that, is gorgeous.
Yeah, it is.
All right, but yeah, so this comes out April 16th, this year, and yeah, man, support. I've been telling you guys, like, I love the Chuck Dixon, Scott McDaniel run of Nightwing, but Tom Taylor's Nightwing has just been fantastic. He is just having a ball with the character. And if you guys get a chance, I really do recommend reading. I mean, we talked about that story where he keeps referencing Gail Simone as a bear. How funny is that? And she's in on it, man. It's not even like, oh, hey. No, she's like, no, totally true. So, all right. So, Nightwing, April 2024, issue 300. Check it out. It's most likely going to be pricey because if it's actually only $4.99, variant would be $5.99.
They're not doing like an oversized issue, 80-page giant.
Nope, 40 pages.
Nice.
40 is still decent size for $4.99.
I know. I'm impressed.
Yeah, that's middle age.
Yeah. All right. Next story.
Okay.
Yeah,
this
too funny.
Yo, this, man.
Okay, this March, What If is taking a thrilling new turn by stepping into the Alien universe. So with Aliens, What If? So in a special 5-issue series, we revisit the iconic Aliens movie. The big question is of what it explores is, what if Carter Burke had survived? So Paul Reiser, the actor who played Burke, is on board with his son Leon, no relation to me. They're teaming up with the impressive crew, including Adam Goldberg from the Goldbergs, Brian Vaughn Weiss from the Toys That Made Us, and Hans Radenoff from Damage Control. They're all set to take us on a journey back to the Hadley's Hope, following a story about survival against the odds. The artwork is going to be by Jiwu Villanova. Did I get that? Okay. So who's known for the amazing work in comics like Cosmic Ghost Rider and Eternals. So totally expect some awesome artwork to bring this story to life. The series delves deep into the character of Burke, the man who betrayed Ripley. We'll see his desperate attempts to capture the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy. And basically, fans have always wondered if Burke, the infamous company man from Aliens, really survived after the event of Hadley's Hope. Now we find him leading a tough life on an isolated asteroid, caring for his daughter Bree, who really doesn't look like him. And it looks like things might get even more complicated when she discovers his current plans. The question is, has Burke really changed, or is he going to endanger everyone again? So Paul Reiser shared his thoughts on playing Burke. He often hears that Burke is a bad guy, but Reiser thinks he's just misunderstood. Now we're about to get a deeper look into Burke's story and find out more about his motives. So stay tuned, launching in March.
I honestly think this could be really cool.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. Paul Reiser played him perfectly because, oh my God, you hate him. He's such a he. This and Stranger Things, he just plays villains so well.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
You know,
Very cool.
I like that first cover better, I have to say.
Yeah.
Scary with the queen overlooking.
I mean, listen, that's all Phil Noto's work, and he just does great covers. Like, he is just fantastic, man. But like, what? I mean, my God, the amount of creative writers on this one thing. Like, if it's just some mediocre story, that's gonna suck. You got a lot of good firepower.
Yeah, that's a lot of money going into it.
And also, I don't think I think this is also continuing a trend of people who portrayed characters writing the characters. I mean, we had the young lady who was portraying Miss Marvel. She's doing that book. So that was like, I was like, I'm all for it. I love when you find the actors or whatnot, they want to contribute to the universe, you know?
I agree with that.
Yep, totally.
All right. So Aliens, what if? Find out.
March something.
People are still going to die, so enjoy.
Okay, next up, I believe Carrie's next.
Woo!
Spawn.
All right. Todd McFarlane is breaking his own records in the Guinness Book of World Records with the release of Spawn number 350 through Image Comics. Back in 2019, Spawn became the longest-running indie comic with issue 301. To celebrate, Spawn is getting a makeover with new penciler Brett Booth, who will step down from the Gunslinger Spawn spinoff. Adelso Corona will be doing the inking, and the exciting plot point going on here is that the Throne of Hell, which has sat empty since issue 100, will be getting warmed up again with someone claiming it, but we aren't in the know about whom it will be yet, friend or foe, but the reveal will affect Spawn, Gunslinger Spawn, Scorched, and King Spawn. And we also get all of these beautiful covers. If you run back to the beginning, I got them kind of in order. Okay, this is Puppeteer Leigh did this one. I love the chains. I like Danny Ketchum chains. I like Hellraisers and chains, Cenobites. I love Spawn and chains. I like chains. Okay.
Chains.
All right, Carrie.
That's just
She's
really
a Fleetwood
cool
Mac
thing.
fan. She likes chains. We got it.
I do that too. This is, of course, Todd McFarlane doing his thing here. More chains. We move on to Jonathan Glapion.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Followed by Brett Booth's cover.
Nice cover.
Yeah. I like the skulls too. This would be Ryan Stegman.
Nice.
Yeah. And some artwork by Mr. McFarlane. And then we get a couple of pages in the end of this by Booth.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And,
Violator, it's still part of it, man. Cool.
So Spawn 350 goes on sale Wednesday, February 21st from Image Comics, and the 40-page issue retails for $4.99.
I'm surprised there's not a Capullo cover.
Thank you. I thought the same thing, man.
Yeah.
There might be more coming out.
There probably is. I mean, that's his baby, man. Like,
They're only
don't get me wrong.
a certain amount at a time.
He's done other stuff, but Spawn is what helped put him on the map.
Oh, yeah.
And he's breaking records with it.
Yeah. I just still can't believe Violator's still a thing. Like, I'm sorry. Like, with all due respect to Pennywise, this is the one clown that terrified me. At one point, I was like, God, this thing's a little
John
shit.
Leguizamo. Yeah, he played a great Violator. I still think that movie just didn't get the respect it should have for the time that
It wasn't
came out.
made in the time when it could have got the respect it would have. Yeah, which is why a lot of us have fingers crossed about this new one they're working on.
Yes.
Don't worry, Jeremy. We'll get by. I think by Spawn 400, we'll get a trailer.
That'd be interesting.
So
Well,
we'll see. But yeah, more Spawn.
Yay, Spawn.
yeah, awesome stuff. Next up, Jar Jar with TMNT.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. IDW is publishing and has secured renowned writer Jason Aaron for the upcoming reboot of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic series, set to be released this summer. In an additional exciting development, the publisher has enlisted 4 top-tier artists for the initial launch of the ongoing series. The forthcoming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles title will kick off with 4 distinct issues, all penned by Aaron, with each installment featuring a different artist and focusing on one of the 4 iconic TMNT brothers. Joel Jones is set to illustrate the issue centered around Raphael, while Raphael Albuquerque will handle the artwork for the Michelangelo-focused TMNT 2. The 3rd issue, highlighting Leonardo, will be brought to life by artist Cliff Chiang, and the spotlight on Donatello in the following issue will be illustrated by Chris Burnham. After that, Raphael Albuquerque will make a return for the title's 2nd arc, spanning Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 through 8. So come check that out when it starts dropping. I just friggin' lost the date. Anybody got the date on that? I believe it's April.
It's in the future, Jeremy.
It's in the future.
It's in the future. It's in the computer.
September. Yeah, they start dropping in July, I guess.
July. Yep. Awesome. These look cool.
I like those. They each have a which it should. They're 4 different turtles, so they should have their own significant looks too.
Totally agree.
Are they all box turtles? What were they? Anybody know?
And that's top-notch talent, man. Those are all great artists who, funny enough, all worked at DC at one point.
Yes.
And I think I've met all of them too, funny enough. The only one I haven't met is Jason Aaron, which Terrificon will probably solve.
Yes.
Hey, Drew, no going to the bathroom while we're doing the show.
I didn't go to the bathroom. I had to get the charger.
You
You didn't hear me whistling.
Just good thing you're back, because you're next.
Oh God, right. So another from Boom Studios, Hidden Valley. Everybody, this one. What a great weird story.
Uncanny Valley.
Oh, sorry. Right, my bad. Ron Valley. Uncanny Valley. So Tony Fleets, who me and Carrie know from Stray Dogs, and there's soon to be series Feral, teaming up with the acclaimed illustrator Dave Watcher, who, funny enough, worked on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at one point. Team up for a crazy story of cartoon mayhem, family drama, and deadly secrets. Spring 2024. So the synopsis is, you got this kid named Oliver. He's a typical 12-year-old boy, except for his history, which seems to start and end with his mom. And this probably explains his odd powers, where he can do things that others can't, landing him in a lot of trouble. Baffled by the surreal, cartoonish nature of his abilities and a murder of a peculiar amount of crows, Oliver begins to pull the thread on the secrets his family has kept from him for so long. A lot of good hype there. Essentially, it's been described as Who Framed Roger Rabbit by way of something epic. This comes out, like I said, April. A lot of good stuff coming out in April, man. April 10, 2024. Features variants by Dave Watcher and Tony Fleece, along with Brett Bean and Dan Mora. All does good stuff, man. But it's a good weird book, man. I'm pumped. I'm for it. This is gonna be great. So what do you guys think?
It looks very interesting. I think it looks really interesting. I like the whole synopsis of it being kind of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's what my mind was thinking when I first saw it. I was like, oh, this is interesting. It's like a real life in intertwined with cartoons.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. This looks awesome.
I mean, Boom, listen, I've been saying it for a while. Boom is just killing it with this superb new stories. I feel like every other week we have these great new series, and I'm like, I need to get a job at better pay because I need to afford all this shit. So
This kind of, I don't know why, but this kind of reminds me of like Stand By Me.
yeah, it's got that feel. It's because it's a bridge, Leo.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
Want to race the train? Come on.
My crows. I'm all excited.
Yeah.
I don't ask
Oh.
for much.
Last story of the evening is going to be for Carrie.
All right. So once again, this is coming out in April. This is Kevin Eastman's Drawing Blood. So back in 2017, Kevin Eastman
Hey, the
launched
actual
Kickstarter.
creator of TMNT.
Mhm.
Co-creator.
Co-creator, my bad.
But
Peter Laird.
back in 2017, he launched a Kickstarter to get Drawing Blood issue 1 underway. By the end of it, $106,176 was pledged towards the $75,000 goal by 1,174 backers.
Ooh,
The premise of the story. Well, the thing was, they were like, didn't you create TMNT? Why do you need money? And he goes, well, I was kind of stupid with what I did with my money, and I do not own this anymore, so need money. But that got taken care of. The premise of the story, what they're doing now is they're releasing a 12-issue maxi series of it. But the premise of the story is that in 1992, a comic book creator and his brother released a book, The Radically Rearranged Ronin Ragdolls, about 3 ragdoll cats who were mutated and learned how to be badasses from a couple of folks at the local Chinese restaurant and went on to fight crime. It was a ridiculous success, and the brothers Paul and Shane Bookman were suddenly in the midst of a multi-million-dollar franchise. Being young men, they didn't do so well with this, and eventually they sold the franchise after parting ways. Now Shane is in his 40s, has no inspiration. He made poor choices with his money and is broke, and suddenly his life involves killers chasing him around from money things he couldn't quite cover. This relaunching is going to be, like I said, 12 issues. Eastman is getting back together with David Avalone and artist Ben Bishop and Troy Little with colorless Brittany Peer and letterer Taylor Esposito. There was a press conference, and this is what they all had to say. Eastman said, the completely fictional true stories of Shane Bookman sums it up the best. Set squarely in our collective world of comics, part autobiographical, part tall tales and legends, I wanted a fictional character we could really put through the paces. Drawing Blood is all that and a basket of kittens. Avalone added, when Kevin told me his idea for the project that became Drawing Blood, I immediately understood 3 things. It was something that hadn't really been done before in comics. It could really be amazing, and that I wanted to write it with him. He kindly brought me on as co-creator, and we've had a blast turning all of the crazy stories of a life in comics into this funny, entertaining, and heartbreaking saga of survival and redemption in show business. And Drawing Blood truly is a story unlike any other, according to Bishop. It's not only a glimpse behind the scenes of the world of making comics and what life might be like decades after co-creating one of the world's biggest franchises, but a look inside the tormented mind of the comics creator as he searches to reconnect with that part of himself who once drew pictures in his bedroom on his bedroom floor with his brother and dreamed of one day making incredible comics for real. We all put our hearts and souls into this book, and so it's incredibly special to each of us. I know people are going to be able to feel that when they're reading. Get ready. Okay, and this is actually back in May 22nd, 2019, they did release Radically Rearranged Ronin Ragdolls, which I read, and it's a really good comic, actually. It's quite cute and very well drawn.
It very much reminds me of a TMNT cover.
Totally.
If you
just
go
a
through,
tad.
Just a tad.
yeah, and you can buy special
Even
versions
the
of
lettering on it is like, wow.
It's a good
Yeah.
homage.
Hmm.
You can buy the fun thing about these. I can't remember which one it is. They each have their own little kind of niches, but the one speaks in rhyming haiku. Like not everything she says, but she likes to tell stories, and she tells them all in rhyming haiku. So it's kind of like, like
Hmm.
a
Okay.
A little
freaking
intriguing kind of thing.
kitty
Yeah.
thing, yeah. But yeah, so
It-
that's what's coming up.
It's another new story we haven't seen, and Kevin Eastman does good work. So hey, more power to you, man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
It,
go for it, Carrie.
no, I was just gonna say it looks good to me. I'm probably gonna be looking into it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool stuff. So what's really cool is that brings an end to
Drew's News. Exciting tales, fresh comic views. In the pages, heroes fly, villains plot under the sky. From Gotham's dark to Metropolis views, we cover stories old and new. Drew's News. Your daily source for comic clues. Join the fun as heroic cruise in the world of Drew's Comics News.
Excelsior!
Leo, you need to end the show right now. You end the show right
love
now.
it.
Right now. Do the end thing.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. You know me, just Google me. But more importantly, follow these awesome people, including Drew from Drew's News. And head on over to the dorkening.com, but also check out Splash Pages. A lot of awesome stuff happening there. Check out our YouTube page. We got a lot of extra content there. I can't speak tonight. It's been a long day. Very, very long day. Well, anyway, we'll kick it over to Carrie.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. I think we had a really good show. We had a lot of fun. You can catch me, just look at Carrie Sanders on Facebook, and if you see an icon of a crow, that's me. All my links are there. I'm also over on the Owlite Network, which is part of the Dorky Network now. And this Friday and Saturday, we are going to be doing a 24-hour broadcast. So we'll have stuff popping up about that with more things and stuff. There's going to be prizes that you can win that we're giving away. All sorts of different shows. I'm going to spend 3.5 hours reading Alice in Wonderland to you as a bedtime story that you can watch later. It's just going to be craziness. So check us out and keep coming back to Splash Pages.
Woo! Awesome. Jar Jar.
Hey, Drew's News. Exciting
Thank you
tales,
so
fresh
much.
comic views. In the pages, heroes fly, villains plot under the sky. From Gotham's dark to Metropolis views, we're watching Drew's News. I
Thank you
cannot
so
get
much.
over that song. I like it. It's very catchy, rhymes and everything. You gotta. I probably know where you got it from, but you did well, Leo. You did well.
Thank you. You just got to know how to program Chat GPT.
You're a pretty good guy. Pretty good.
Well, I try.
Follow me on Facebook, Jeremy Courtney. Check out Comic Book Lovers Buy Sell Trade and Auction House on Facebook to hang out and buy, sell, and trade comics. And let's see. The Re-Education of Nancy Ann Ritter has a new recording out, I think last week or the week before. Go check that out. Go check all of them out. They're getting quite a bit of views. So be in the know. If you're a Scream fan and you know who Nancy Ann Ritter is, you're already halfway in the know. And from that, over to Drew, because it's Drew's News. Exciting tales, fresh comic views. In the
Jeremy,
pages,
shut up.
heroes fly, villains plot
Everybody,
under the sky.
I'm Drew. I work here. I wish sometimes I didn't. It's the same way that people who are in a big family want to be an only child. But I'm here every Tuesday. You can find me on Facebook. You can also find me on Instagram, GhostbusterMan1984. There's a lot that I'm working on. So if you hit me up, I'll get back to you when I can. But there's a lot of good stuff here. Got a lot of good stuff there. A lot of good stuff anywhere. And we will keep you up to date because we handle the news.
Drew's news.
I hate all of you so much. Oh, there is one more thing I did want to update all of y'all. Leo, put it back on me for a second. Everybody, thank you for joining us. Rob Lee was totally awesome, and we're hoping that we have him back on the show. Stay tuned for next week when we have iconic creator John Leigh on the show for next week, where we're going to be discussing many great things in his career, especially his award-winning book that he did with Rob Guillory, Chew. We're totally excited to have him, and it's going to be a great show. So read up, bring your questions, and hopefully bring your appetite.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Just so we have it under recording and I can edit it, could you start that off instead with saying, hey, our next guest is, and then just say the name, and then I can do some splicing.
Sure. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us for Splash Pages. Tune in for next week. We're going to have legendary creator John Leigh. John has a long career in DC, Marvel, Dynamite, Dark Horse. You name it, he's probably been there. We're going to be discussing all of it. And we're most likely going to be discussing his award-winning book of Rob Guillory, Chew. So bring your questions, read up, bring your appetite, especially if you like a taste for trogs, and we'll catch you there.
Totally missed it. But anyway,
our next guest is John Leigh.
How did I miss it? I did the whole thing.
No, I just wanted to say basically just our next guest is instead of next week's guest.
Oh, okay, cool. Our next guest is
the never-ending show.
I hate all of you. Our next guest is Mr. John Leigh, who is a well-known and great writer who's done a lot with Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, and a few other publishers.
Okay, that's it. I can splice it.
Oh my God.
We'll catch you.
End the goddamn show.
See ya.
Good night.
All right,